Good morning, friends. Happy November, happy Wednesday. It's a new month, and we are launching into a new season. It feels like the seasons have turned here. We've had several days that were below freezing and a couple of snow flurries, nothing that really stuck down here up in the mountains we have, but this is a new season. And so yeah, hopefully everybody had a great October. Let's post the link to the Zoom call on Facebook. Yes, and just by way of announcements, we did decide to host two more Reclaim Your Health events here at our house. So if you're local, if you're going to be in town, definitely come join us for those. I believe those links are at sharesuccess.com/events. Dang it, they're not. Well, just go to doTERRA's Reclaim Your Health and search up the events in your area because they are fantastic events. So good. So it's the tour.doterra.com is where you can find the Reclaim Your Health events in your area. So there's the link in Zoom, and there's the link in Facebook. So come play, connect with the other locals, other doTERRarists in your area, and you're gonna love it. It's a great way to strengthen and build belief in the product, build belief in the company. So Becky says she's going in 2 weeks. That's awesome. Love that. Also, we've got Experience doTERRA this month, which that is at sharesuccess.com/events. So let's share the link to that. So that's November 17th and 18th. So we'd love to have you come, bring your new builder prospects, bring your baby builders, anyone who you want to help build belief in the company and the opportunity. It's a great opportunity for that. So yeah, this is a season for gathering, right? We gather with family, but it's also a great time to gather your doTERRA family and build those connections. Rosie says we still have 7 tickets for Saturday in Redmond, Washington. So snag those. Rosie always does a great job with her events. Good to see you on here, Rosie. All right. Well, oh, Jillian says she's bringing 6 new people to Experience doTERRA. Woot, woot. That is fantastic, Jillian. That is a model that we have found just works over and over again. We have done very little to change the lineup. We've added one part to the tour that made that a little more engaging, but otherwise it's the same lineup and it's working like a charm. So don't be shy. Come join us in Utah. This whole business is about building belief, right? Brad Richardson, we sat down with when we were just getting started, and we didn't know what we were doing. He had been a coach to network marketers for years, and so he said, Andy and Natalie, there's only one thing that matters in your doTERRA business. If you could only measure one thing, this is that one thing. We're like, oh, is it sales? Is it who's using the most product? And he's like, no, it's belief. Belief is what fuels action. Belief is what fuels consumption. So belief is what we build at these events, the Reclaim Your Health events and the Experience doTERRA events. So it's a fantastic question to stand in. What can I do today to build belief in myself, in my team, in my community? It all comes back to building belief. So it's going to be a great event. Well, let's go ahead and open it up to questions. I would love to serve and support you wherever you are, wherever you're at in the business, wherever you are geographically. Just raise your hand and we can bring you on live, and you can do that with or without video. I know it's a little early for some to flip that camera on, but I'd love to hear what's working. What have you found that's serving and blessing you in your mindset, in your team building, engaging your team? What's working for you? Go ahead and raise your hand and let's have a little chat. And your morning drinks are welcome. I've got my cacao drink, and so doesn't matter what you're bringing. Let's sit down and share a cup. All right, Rosie is raising her hand.
Okay, don't mind me. I'm driving, but I'm game. I'm game to multitask, right?
Thanks for coming to play. How are you, friend?
I'm doing great. You know, that question you asked, what's working? What do you see is making a difference in your business? And there's two things, Andy, and like you and Natalie are dear friends, and I just love the beliefs that you guys always have and pour into everybody. And I swear, of all the people in doTERRA, you've seen all the phases of Rosie Grummert, and I just love that you guys love me through all of that.
Of course.
And so there's the two things. The one thing that I'm seeing that's working is we need to be doing those things you talked about back at the beginning, and you sat down with Rod, and we started preaching on my team way before convention. Remember when we used to just do 222? Like It was the fast track planner, right? And it was 222, and you reached out to those people every day. And so that right there is doing the thing yourself. That is what you're feeling inspired to do, not looking and seeing what everybody else is doing, just doing that thing yourself. You've got to be taking the action yourself. And then Eric Warre talked about.
Hey, before you move on, Rose, I know a lot of these people are like fairly new to doTERRA, probably in the last couple of years. So could you catch us up on what those 222 mean? Because I know that's like short code for us OGs, but we got a lot of new Gs here. So tell us what 222 is.
So way back in the day, before Share Success and Empowered Success, we had this little trifold, and it was called the Fast Track Planner. And I think that Rod and Seth were the two that were masterminds behind that, right?
Yep, we partnered with them on that. It's fun.
Yep. And so you were to reach out to 2 prospects per day, 2 existing customers on your team per day, and 2 of your builders per day. And you just check that off 5 days a week or 6 days a week, whatever your work week looks like, right? And there were some other things that were part of that fast track planner, but seriously, that 222 just makes all the difference in the world.
So true.
So that,
it was so simple, and it works. It still works.
So it still works, because then our brain goes, yes, I accomplished something today, and that silly thing that can live in our minds that can make us feel like we're not doing well, that you can just like brush that off, right?
And before you jump to your next thing, Rosie, what do we notice about the 222? Is it results-based goals or is it action-based goals?
Those are things we have control over. So they're not outcome-based. Yeah, they're not outcome-based. They are the seeds that create the harvest, right?
Totally. Yep. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure everybody's up to speed. And then you said, I think you're moving on to another thing.
Yes. Eric Warre taught again recently. So again, these are just tried and true things coming up to the surface again that still work, that you can project or measure the growth on your team based on the number of people that are enrolling more than X amount of people. And I don't remember what that number is. It might be, you might remember, it might be 10, it might be 8, it might be 11. I don't remember what it is. And that is something that I see as true, and it gives pause for reflection. Like, each of us as leaders, are we leading the charge by enrolling each month? And how many people are we cheering them on, right? And helping them enroll more each month? And I see that it's true. I have, between 7 and 10 people each month that are enrolling those numbers, and it makes a huge difference from times when we haven't been seeing those numbers on the team, right?
Totally.
And I know sometimes that can make the bottom
just
kind of fall out of somebody in their belief, like, wait, how can we enroll that number of people? And it really is just, you just bite off to the next chunk, right? Like, if right now you're enrolling 1 or 2, then just bump it up by 25%. Be like, well, this month I'm going to enroll 5. Like, whatever it is, you just incrementally bring it up, right?
Totally. I love that so much. I think Laura shared some of that data with us at the rank retreat, and so I'm just looking for those slides right now. I know that Rod, I think it was Rod Richardson. Yeah, it was Rod that shared. If you and your builders just enrolled one person every quarter, right? Once every 3 months, then your team would double every year. So it doesn't take like ridiculous numbers, right? You don't have to be this 100-person a month enroller to create massive movement. It just takes, he talked about the power of many people doing a little. It's getting that flywheel spinning with a lot of people pushing is much better than having one rock star enroller on your team.
Yes, there's another network marketing guru. I'm not remembering his name right offhand, but he talks about that, like, a key to success is getting more people to do a small thing. And you're always going to have your runners, and those are great to nurture, but more people doing a small thing. And so starting at convention time, I started doing some special calls for anyone that enrolls one person on the team.
I love it.
And that has also made an impact, because everything changes one drop at a time, right? One life at a time, one person at a time.
So powerful. Well, thank you so much.
That's all the wisdom I have for today.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for the reminder of 222. That fast track planner takes me back. I had to see if I can find the graphics and post those. That's a flashback right there.
Well, it's vintage, right?
Yeah.
We're vintage.
It's retro.
Yeah.
We're retro.
It totally is. And it's evergreen, like it doesn't get old. So fantastic. Thank you so much for hopping on with us, Rosie. Welcome, Tiff.
Hi, friends. Good morning.
How are you today?
Oh my gosh. Excited, nervous, ready.
Oh man.
We just have a lot going on today, and it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to it. But I love popping in, and you guys are preaching the good word of truth of the 222. I mean, take us back, like she said, vintage. But truly, like, what I love is, the power of those small, simple things. And that's so doable, right? Did y'all feel that? That's what I get when you tell me something like 222. And you've heard us talk about even recently where we've been discussing and sharing, the power of having effort-based goals, right? Like you just said, they're action goals, they're oriented. But when something feels doable, the odds of follow through go up significantly, right? So if we say, gosh, you got to contact 25 people every day, you're like, oh, forget it. But 222, it's like, I can do that. That's doable on a regular basis. But hi, so good to see you, Andy Goddard, and the rest of the Success team. And welcome to November 1st.
Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. And I'm super ready for it.
So I foolishly threw out the question, how's everybody enjoying the gratitude series? And our astute viewers were quick to correct me that it doesn't start until noon today. So
Yes.
silly me.
Silly you, Andy. I mean, come on. But we're in the vibe of it. We're feeling it already. We've been nourishing that in the Facebook group. But yes, my annual gratitude, the feel good free series of the year, once a year, every November and all of November. There's 5 Wednesdays in this November month that we're going to be meeting in live time. And even if you can't be there live, if you get registered, you can receive the recordings. You just need to register yourself at gratitudeseries.com. And then the Facebook group is where we've already been nourishing and connecting as a group already, which is why some of those folks might be like, hey, yeah, we're in this vibe already. And that's the same. The Facebook group is under the same name, Gratitude Series. And we just keep that group up all year round. So you don't need to find, past years we used to do Gratitude Series and then name the year. And now it's just the overall group. But yes, Miss Rosie, it was so good to see you and see you sharing those gems. And I'm looking forward to today. We got a whole lot going on, a lot of energy, a lot of growth and birthing energy, and therefore also nerves and a nice little dose of resistance that shows up, right? We're on the cusp of growth and growing. It's
Always.
like, oh, hi, resistance.
Hello, old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old
My old
friend.
friend.
There you are in all the various forms that has shown up. And I think one thing I want to share with all of you, Jillian's asking, where's the gratitude Facebook page? It's just under the name Gratitude Series. So Jillian, if you search Gratitude Series, you should be able to find it and click request to join. And then we'll get you synced up in that group too.
I'll post a link too.
But can I share a message that's on my heart that I think is for all of us, not just Tiff, I think for all of us. And it's 3 words. I want you to write this down for me. And the 3 words are trust the redirect. Trust the redirect, right? Is the power. The other morning, I had this experience with Success Academy. That's my group coaching, business coaching program. And 1 minute before we were supposed to go live, my power went out. You need the power for the World Wide Web and the internet. And my clients are all over the US and around the globe. And so 1 minute before my power goes out and my hotspot on my phone's not working. And I get on my phone on Zoom and let them know, hey, so sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. Here we are. And we start connecting on my phone, right? I'm on my phone via Zoom. And I start kind of sharing a little bit about what the content was planned for. Mondays are our training coaching days, and then Wednesdays are our Q&A sessions. And I start sharing a little bit about what the planned content was for that module for week 4 that we're in. Anyway, we get in at about 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and then my Zoom kicks me off my phone. And one of my clients in the group texts me a few minutes later. She's like, don't worry. We're just doing connecting and catching up as a group and doing what's new and good. So the group just kind of managed themselves. But normally if you get kicked off a Zoom you're hosting, it like zaps out the whole call, and it didn't do that. So it kicks me off, and then I get back on and the group has a whole other conversation going on where like, shelf the content. We don't need that today. And they're just having heart to heart. And we all just have this heartfelt connection about, gosh, the opposition, the challenges, the resistance that's up for everyone as you're on the growth edge, right? Remind yourself, when I'm sitting on the couch eating potato chips or peanut butter cups, right? I had my hand in that Halloween bowl last night. I'm just going to admit it, right? We're cleansing it today, but it's like, I have no resistance to sit on my couch, scroll my phone, watch TV, and eat chips. But when you're like, hey, I'm trying to create something new, or I'm up to good in the world, or expand myself, my business, it's just normal that you have some of that come up. Well, we ended up having the most heartfelt tears, heartfelt connection, people sharing what's going on in their lives, what they're processing. And just in community, we all held this beautiful space. And it was the most magical session. even though it wasn't what was quote planned. And it's like, trust the redirect. Well, a little bit of backstory is 10 minutes before that all went down, I'd intentionally reached out and asked my sweetheart, and we pray regularly and pray for each other regularly, but I'd asked for very specific prayers coming into this week with the gratitude series, with coaching, and I'm giving birth to this new journal, which I'm going to show it to you in just a moment, because I have my first proof copy. They're not for sale just quite yet. But that was also part of that opposition, is they were supposed to be ready to sell today and they're not. And so I had to feel a little feels and like, oh, but I'm also legit. I'm truly in trust that all is working in alignment, and trust the redirect. So 10 minutes before power goes out, Zoom kicks me out. The universe basically said, Tiff, butt out. We've got something we're up to and we need to facilitate this. I had asked my sweetheart to specifically, it was so on my heart. I said, would you please pray specifically that I'm very clearly in tune with what is needed today and this week for these different groups and this journal and the people that we're serving? Will you just ask that heaven's way be made clear? And like ask this very specific prayer. And then 7 minutes later, power's out. So it's like, be careful what you pray or ask for, but no, I don't mean that. Absolutely pray and ask for that. And just then trust the redirect. And so I'm in a lot of leaning in of trust and surrender. Some of you have heard, I had a gentleman on my podcast earlier in the springtime with a gentleman named Coot Blackson. Actually, this was last year. Yeah. He has a book called The Magic of Surrender. Great book. Best-selling book. He's written a couple. I love that book. The Magic of Surrender by Coot Blackson. Now it sounds pretty, right? But how many of you really love learning about surrender sometimes? Right, Andy? It's like, are we kidding? Yeah, as Irene says, love that book. Purchased it for friends. It's phenomenal. He spoke to my mastermind this summer, and that's why I was thinking he was with us this year, but it was on the podcast. You can find a great show with him. But he has this formula in his book where he says trust plus surrender equals magic. And control and resistance equals suffering. Think about that. Trust plus surrender equals magic. And the opposite, when we're heavily trying to control, right? And we're in a lot of resistance and like we're resisting the flow to some, we create a lot of that suffering. And sometimes I guess one of the things I don't feel like I can say is textbook is sometimes there's the line between push through the obstacles and then also drop into surrender. I don't think there is a magic textbook answer to that. I think you have to live in alignment with your own higher power and what that might mean to you, and being in alignment to trusting and in the flow. Because sometimes, again, it's like, yeah, I know we've got to get the grit out, get out the grit, right? And we work through it. And sometimes it's okay, we'll launch this baby next week then, I guess, is what's going to happen. Right. And so I'm living that in my own life and lifetime. And I'm just so confident that that is a true lesson for every one of you, is trust the redirect and trust, lean into surrender. Because when surrender is partnered with trust, then the white knuckling and the, oh my gosh, and all the fears, I feel like can really be at least somewhat reduced, if not neutralized completely, when it's like, I'm up to good. You're all up to good. And when you're up to good, you're hanging out with God, because goodness is God's space. So when you're like, I'm trying to help people grow, I'm trying to help people, get healthier with these products. I'm trying to help more people advance in their personal development. I'm trying to help more people come home to true principles, or help them with a creation portal, right? And help them with, being an intentional creator. It's like, oh, it's powerful. And so just know that I just feel like I'm so clear about trust right now, as you can feel. And there was this lesson I was thinking about last night, because I was a little discouraged, you guys, and just in a bit of my feels, because you're like, hey, like sometimes you really like have a due date for a baby, but sometimes babies don't come on their due date. Even if you try to induce them, it's like, come on, and I was a little discouraged because I was like, okay, this is all going to be here, be ready. So it's okay. But this was the lesson I was thinking about literally just yesterday was you can still be I'm in full trust, and it's okay to still feel discouraged. Like when things are outside of our time frame, our desires, right? Like some of you may have hoped you were already going to be silver or gold by now, or diamond or whatever, right? Anyone relate to that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's okay to feel discouragement. Now, again, you're going to hear me say, don't build a house there, but you can also be in full trust. Like if you're doing like what Rosie just wisely coached you to do, if you're taking the actions regularly, the 222, you're nourishing people, you're showing up, you're sharing content, you're contacting, you're hosting, it really is just timing.
Mhm.
And it what does come to fruition. And so I'm just so powerfully aware this week around trust the redirect, because what got created, just for example, on Monday's coaching session with my group was 10 times more beautiful than what I was planning to do. And so even though technology is like, well, we'll just take the power out. And I'm like, wait, what? No, I need, wait. Oh, we're going to kick you off your Zoom call and keep the Zoom call running, even though you're the host of the meeting. It's going to stay intact and keep running. And we'll let you back in once we've redirected where this really needs to go today.
I love that.
Yeah. So we're just seeing it. But do you want to see my baby, Andy? Do you
Please
want to see
show and
this
tell.
baby? I have put it on the socials just recently. And this again is the proof copy, but can I show you my cute baby? And thank you. Many of you weighed in on that cover design on the socials too. And thank you. What we basically did is I liked both so much and I heard your feedback. We basically married the two and blended them instead of like, do we go purple? Do we go magenta? It was like, well, yes. So we've married them right together. But I basically, this little journal is the journal I would want. And it's the journal I've been creating in my own blank paper for years, which is a combination of visioning and visiting your vision, gratitude journal, a daily page for journaling of gratitudes and visiting your manifestations, and then inspired action. So here we go. But look at this cutie. Isn't she beautiful?
Wow. That's fantastic.
Isn't she pretty? Now this line right here, just because this is what's called a proof copy, it says not for resale, but this line right here says a guide to manifesting your dreams. And there's the back of it.
I love it.
The opening of this beauty, let me show you one of the cool things you can kind of see. Now, again, we're doing, this was the proof copy. We made a few changes, but see, this is the concept throughout the journal is you visit your vision, you practice your gratitude, you take inspired action, helps you get into manifestation. And then you have, again, quotes throughout the journal. And then here's your daily pages. And then every about 20 pages, there's a visit your vision, but she's just beautiful. I was like, oh my gosh, she's here. And we're still in the process. So you can't, Marina's asking, where can you buy it? You can't buy it just yet. That's the thing. That's what we're sharing. It will be live on Amazon. And if we're friends on social or if you're on my email list, you'll hear about it there. You also hear about it in the gratitude series. So we're in the process of creation.
Oh,
and it's exciting. So
isn't that the best feeling when your book comes off the press and you get to hold it in your hands and
yeah, it's literally, it's a 2-pound baby. It's like, oh, it's a little baby, a business baby.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's like something I've thought about for a couple of years. So it's fun to have it here. And we're in trust that it will be for sale at the right time.
Well, we're super excited.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It looks like exactly the right tool to help practice everything we talk about here and just put it into a daily, just practice, right? Like it's easy to talk about once a week, but how do I actually practice all these principles? So, so powerful.
Yes. So it's so good. I'm so grateful. And thank you all for helping me pick out the cover and cheering me on and celebrating with me. The outpouring of love has just been so sweet and so kind and humbling and just all the good stuff. So anyway, I'm excited to be here though with the Share Success amazing community as we kick off a brand new month I love
Yep.
meet on the first day of the month. So what's on your heart, friend, or what are you thinking about and creation?
Oh man. We talked earlier about just building belief, the importance of structuring your activities, your events, pretty much everything you do around building belief. So yeah, that's kind of what's up for me. Um, we met with this really cool guy yesterday who's thinking about building a business, and um, yeah, again, just sitting there, um, trying to see doTERRA, the opportunity, through his eyes. Um, it was a really sweet connection. Now that I don't know, it was just this kind of little Zion moment where it just felt like we were being held. And anyways, doTERRA is as good an opportunity as ever, and it's there for the taking. It doesn't care. The opportunity doesn't care who takes it. Just like money doesn't care who owns it, like the opportunity's there. So why wouldn't we pick it up? When you were sharing about trusting the redirect, it kind of took me back to when 15 years ago I was, this just a happy little web designer working from home, doing my thing. And Natalie is this holistic health coach who's just helping people heal, and we're both super happy, like we weren't looking for anything. And then God comes and he puts doTERRA in our lives and he says, build this as a business. And we're like, hang on, what?
Wait. And
you
do you
want
remember go back to the beginning when Natalie's like, hey, I really want to do this. And you were kind of like, yeah, I don't know. And how much money is
oh
this costing? Do you remember that up
I
front?
was such a skeptic. I was such an unsupportive drag on her business. And but
You were
yeah,
a buzzkill, huh?
I totally was 100%.
Buzzkillian.
But I just remember what a huge redirect that was for God to come and say, I want you to do network marketing. And Natalie's like, but I don't do network marketing. And God was like, well, I wanted this for you, but if you don't want it, that's fine. I can give it to someone else. And so it's, just like we were saying, that the opportunity doesn't care who has it, but God wanted it for us. And so Natalie's like, well, hang on. If you can fix my beliefs about what it means to do network marketing, then I'm in. I'm your girl. So yeah, trust the redirect is such a profound, powerful thing. It can take so many different shapes and forms, and it really is an invitation to be one with the divine and to just be in flow with your own inspiration. Because that's 100% what got us in doTERRA, was trusting that redirect. So thank you for that reminder.
I love it said sometimes too. I don't remember whose quote this is. This is from like years ago. It just dawned on me or came back in. It's like, if you plan on living your very best life, or the very best life God has for you, don't plan on living or staying in your comfort zone very long. Right? Because again, a lot of times that's growing. That doesn't mean it's always uncomfortable or it's always stressful either, right? That's not also the message. It's just knowing that sometimes life is going to work out differently and there's going to be beautiful adventures and surprises if you're willing to say yes, right? Can I mention a Christmas thing yet? Or is that too soon?
Yes.
Is it too
Three
soon?
of our neighbors have their Christmas lights up. And so, yes, you have full permission.
Okay. I mean, it is November 1st, but I love in the movie The Polar Express, right? Where he says, the train conductor, Tom Hanks, the train conductor says, what matters is you choose to get on the ride. Right. And I don't know if I'm not quoting that exactly, but that's the gist of it. It's like, that's my favorite line in that whole movie, right? It's like that you choose to get on the ride, that you say yes. Is like, to your point, like you guys didn't have to say yes. And you'd probably still be having a life that had gorgeous, beautiful, amazing things in it and challenges.
Yeah.
It's just look at the ride that this has been and the vistas it's provided and the personal growth and the opportunities and the expansion
Yep.
by you choosing to say yes to something that was outside your norm, outside your comfort zone, something you were quite skeptic about. Understandably so, because it was so new and you have ideas of, well, what does it mean to do network marketing? What the whole world doesn't understand. So those people, especially that love to make fun of network marketing, is all business is network marketing.
Yeah.
Right. I get it set up, you have different funnels and flow and things like that, but everyone's in the people business. Everyone's in networking and connecting and marketing in your network, right? When you turn the words around, marketing network, all of you are marketing in your networks, right? Because that's the power of what you're up to in the world is business. It's like, network marketing. Well, we're all in network marketing. It's because you're all in the people business. So it's just interesting, right? It's like the willingness to lean in. But y'all, this is one of my favorite. I love the month of November. I love every month, right? Life has a gift every single time, but I love the coziness of this month. I love the connection of this month, right? You think about Thanksgiving and practicing, our Canadian friends have celebrated recently their Thanksgiving, and the US will do so. But whether wherever you live in the world, it's like the power of giving thanks, right? Thanksgiving. And again, turning those two words around, giving thanks, and the power of giving thanks, to God and to each other and to yourself and to just this experience. And it's like practicing that and the power of connection. This is a really great month for y'all to be gathering, connecting, nourishing. I know Andy said this in past recent calls that November tends to be one of the highest sales revenue months for all of doTERRA. As people are thinking it's a great gift to give, and you think about the holidays and all the various ways of giving and gift giving, gathering, you can be diffusing different recipes, roller blend making. I think I'm saying that right in my brain this morning.
Either way.
But gathering for different reasons, and the doTERRA can be right part of all of it. Naturally, not as, I have to think about or try to quote sell this, like you really can just put it in to everything that you're up to.
So good.
Yeah.
So powerful. Well, let's open it up to questions.
Yeah,
go ahead
let's
and raise
do.
your hand, and we'd love to bring you in. Maybe as you're thinking about that question, we can repeat Maria's question. So when Rosie was on earlier and she was talking about the 222, she said that anyone who enrolls, I think, 2 people on her team, she offers a special call to. And so I think it was Maria who asked, how would you do a good mentoring call? If you wanted to offer some kind of special call as an incentive, what does that look like? And I just want to open that up for anyone to contribute to, like what would be a meaningful value add call that you could offer to people who are in action, people who are in motion on your team? That's a great question. So go ahead and put in the chat what ideas you have. We'll throw out a couple ideas. But yeah, Tiff, what are your thoughts on, if you wanted to incentivize correct action, what's a meaningful call you could do?
Well, I think having any kind of call like that, I really love. I'm a big fan of course, asking questions, right? And there's just something I'm looking in my documents to see if I can find and pull up for y'all. Let's see if it's right in here. 1 second. Team culture.
I love Ashley's idea. Her idea is to offer an essential emotion coaching session. So, and in fact, that kind of responds to Karen. Karen says, does anyone have a recipe for a friend whose family is going through a lot? I mean, that's the magic of the emotional breakthrough process is no matter where people are, it'll guide them to an oil or a set of oils that would serve them. So I love that idea so much.
Mhm.
Just yeah, and who doesn't have a team or friends that have a lot they're going through right now, you know? We just got a text yesterday from a team member whose 1 year old just had a really, really severe burn. And so we were,
Mm.
you know, Max's experience, we're guiding them through that process. And you're like, oh, there's just so much heaviness, right? And
Yeah.
so if we can be a light, if we can be a solutions provider, so powerful.
Yeah. Are you doing okay, Andy? Because again, back to emotions, that like what it
Yeah,
brings up for you is coming back to your own tools, right? Because
totally.
that PTSD is real.
It is
So
real.
it's like from the oils to
Yeah,
grounding to prayer to tapping, various
yeah,
things like that, and sharing it. I'm going to
yep.
share with you guys, share screen if I can. Let me see that. And here's one thing that I've had in a previous doTERRA training called, I just call this the mentoring outline. And if you want to take a photo of this, feel free to, but it's just, again, I think Rosie probably has some great ones too. And others as you're sharing is just in terms of asking those good questions, celebrating wins and victories from the last week based on, or the month based on how frequently, you're meeting, checking in on their own wellness as wellness advocates, what's their own well-being looking like? How's that going? Review their last assignments or commitments. What's working well? What would you like to improve or level up? Business goals. When will it happen? How can I best support you? Right. And this is just something, again, that we created a couple of years ago. One of those things. But I think, again, whether that works for you or there's plenty in the different, share success and the training guides that's been created. But I think just asking some core questions, right, is utilizing that. What was the exact question in the chat box about this?
So Rosie was just saying that on her team, she threw out an incentive that anybody on her team who gets 2 enrollments per month can attend this call. And so the question was, what are some ideas for those types of calls? Like what kind of calls would be useful? What could we do? Because maybe we don't see ourselves as leaders just yet, or we don't feel like we have any kind of fabulous content that we could provide. So how could you start today hosting a cool call that people would actually want to be on?
Yeah, you could make it like again, so what I just modeled or showed you, you could do one-to-one or you can do one-to-many, right? And having everyone talk through or work through those questions, you can partner them up in a Zoom breakout room or just have everyone, based on how many people are there, share. I also love, again, like book clubs are great, or like Rosie said, collab with someone and have a great guest or guest expert come that's part of that with you. I think those are some great ideas, right? But you're helping support people and that you're creating community and just the conversation around, hey, come get filled up, and that might be a combination of quotes and questions, variety of different things.
Love that. I love the idea of just bringing in a guest, like Rosie suggests. And this call is just one of the many spaces where you could find someone cross line who could be a host, right? They could be one of your guest presenters on the call. It doesn't have to be some, presidential diamond on your call. It could be anyone, and just sharing their experiences and their whatever their unique thing is, right? I mean, this time of year, it could be we're going to do fun roller blends, right? Like there's so many fun DIYs for the holidays. It could be a gift making call where you come together and make, bath soak salts and scrubs and all the things. Like there's a million ways. So fun stuff. Yes, and for those of you who asked, be sure to read the chat. I wish there was a way to capture the chat for our Zoom, for our people who watch the replay on Facebook or YouTube. Does anybody know a way to do that? Because I feel like the chat is where like so much magic happens.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that though.
Someone
And-
who is Zoom smarter at Zoom than me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. So good. Yeah, so many good ideas. Um, just because I'm tech challenged on that area, I'm going to go ahead and read through a bunch of these. So, Ruth says, focusing on pouring in belief, helping them know what resources there are for continuing support. And then Laurie says, speak from your heart, give thanks on their enrollments, ask if there's anything you can do this week to help with momentum. Yeah, I mean, it could be as simple as asking your team, like, what kind of a call would serve you, right? Just like Tiffany was saying. Debbie says, I'm a professional organizer. I could be a call guest. Love that. Let's see. Rosie says she also mailed out gifts to anyone who enrolled 5. Really simple, but can be really powerful. Yeah, great ideas.
So good. I love that. I mean, it's just the idea. I love, like Rosie said, if someone enrolled, she said my team was newer, I had 1 gift I mailed out to anyone who enrolled 2 and another gift I mailed for anyone who enrolled 5 with 100 PV, right?
Mhm.
And use that, for fast start, and just having that, in place where there's, and again, whether you can you text something out, and you make it more digital to putting a gift in the mail, that kind of thing that creates incentive. Right. And just acknowledgement and support. That's always so fun to do that. Like we're doing something similar with the journal with like every purchase, we have some bonuses, or 5 purchases, bonuses and things like that. So I just think those are great things to do. And I know they require some time, but one of those things I'd invite you to do from a time perspective is I would create, and it's also a great manifestation technique, is I'd create, say, 5 of those welcome packages. Right. And you get them ready. That's a beautiful manifestation, what we'd call a demonstration. Florence Shin, the author of the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, she would talk about a demonstration. That's a great way, is like, I'm prepared. She says, man or woman doesn't get what they want. They get what they're prepared for. So if you prepare like welcome folders, welcome packages, right? It's as if you're expecting them to show up, that you need an address to get on that package, right? But then you're also, from a time management perspective, it's like, hey, we're going to do that. We're going to prep them all at the same time. Just like if we're individually putting a sample bottle together versus we put on a Hallmark movie, right? And we put together 30 little mini sample bottles all at the same time, as you put it, and then you have these types of things that you can put out to people as they come forward, even just like, I love those I buy these little organza bags off Amazon, small little gold ones about this big, and even if you put 3 to 5 little sample bottles to a new person, that's like, hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And here's a few of my favorite blends to try out. That's also a way, it's a gift, but it's also a gift that might lead to more sales potentially too. Right.
Mhm.
But even if you did something where it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, it doesn't have to be a huge gift. It's a little thing, but little things still have a big impact.
Mhm.
So I love to do that. But yeah, Marina's asking what can go in welcome packages, right? You could have a card, you could have a roller blend bottle. You could do what I was just mentioning, little sample bottles, things like that. Maybe add, some people would call it the spoil SP, and then oil was in big words, right? Spoil me, little
Yeah.
challenges. And you
Can I
could have,
share?
an on guard drop and a ginger drop, or, peppermint beadlets, or a deep blue sample little packet. I mean, there's all the ways that you can sample, but they can also
Yep.
be, as people have already bought, like a great little welcome package.
So for anyone who's interested in what Tiffany just mentioned, we call it the spoiled package, and you can download it for free at sharesuccess.com/library. You just scroll down here to the bonus downloads, and then this is what it looks like right here, spoiled with oil highlighted. Get it? Anyways, fun little play on words there. And then once you download it, this is what that looks like. Where's my Acrobat? Here it is. Okay, so the front of the card looks like this, and then the back of the card has got these fun samples that you could put in the bag. So obviously we need to update that to be, instead of Slim and Sassy metabolic gum, it'd be the MetaPower gum. But then
Yeah, those little essential oil bottles just right there, top left.
yep,
And
totally.
the deep blue rub, I love those. I love those little packets when I used to go to a
Mhm.
physical gym. Those were great to pack along.
Yep,
And see the throat drops and toothpaste. You
Totally.
also have the probiotics in those little satchels.
yep.
So lots of ways. You don't have
And
to use all those, by the way, guys. You just, even if you picked one of those things or two or three of those things.
Totally. The thing we love about this whole idea is that it starts to widen or broaden, if that's a word, the product usage of our existing customers. So they might already be all in with the oils. They might even be all in with the Lifelong Vitality. But do they know the power of doTERRA's metabolic products or the TerraZyme? Like TerraZyme, I don't know what I would do without that product. It is a staple for Natalie, for our family, for me. And maybe they never even tried Deep Blue Rub or Serenity soft gels. Like we have so many power tools that if people just tried, they would be hooked for life. So it's a powerful, but it's simple but powerful way to share.
I just want to say what Camille's saying too. Like, I mean, did you guys see like how many resources are in there? Like, you guys are just so generous, how much you've created over the years. Will you just guide people again? How do they find the resources page you were just on? Because y'all, if you haven't been there ever, let alone if you haven't been there in a while, there is so much legit, like they could just realize they could sell everything about in that and sell it for a lot of money in terms of packaged information that's just free resources. Like, you guys are so incredible, Andy, of how much you've created for your community.
Well, thank you. It's easy to share when God's been so generous with us. So we love sharing anything good we find. Yeah, great resource there. And I'm going to put in my to-do list to update that with the new MetaPower line and the new sleep system too. Like, we've got great stuff. I mean, we don't have samples of the Serenity sleep stick, but who else is loving that sleep stick? It is so great.
Me.
It's the bomb.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm loving that sleep stick. And sometimes, again, using it, like Nat shared this in one of our girlfriend threads, of using it sometimes when you're feeling, some of your anxious emotions or things that are up. So not even when you're wanting to sleep, but because the valerian root that's in it, right? The calming influence. And so it's like, I traveled with that over this last weekend and just used it last night. I'm loving that stuff. And I've been taking my MetaPower more consistently too. And it's like my eyelashes are like, ding. I love that collagen. It's so good, you guys.
So good. Yeah. I mean, that collagen should be like the #1 sample right here.
Yeah. So good.
In January, I don't know, Tiff, if you heard what's coming, but we've got a new product. And as soon as I started talking about it, it totally left my brain. It's basically a hydration product. Somebody help me out here. It's in the PB line, and it's is it called Restore? Yes, Restore.
Okay.
But
I like this already.
Yeah, it's basically your electrolytes. So it's an electrolyte drink.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sign me up for all of it.
Recharge. Thank you.
Recharge. There we go. We know it's an R word. Renew, restore, recharge. There we go.
That's right.
Here we come. Sign me up. I'm excited for it. So you guys are creating all the good. Shall we wrap up? I gotta hop off.
Yep.
We got a gratitude series to launch here coming up soon.
That's right.
All right. I'll see many of you there. Gratitudeseries.com live, or you'll get the recording. But so great to be with you, Andy. Welcome to November, my friend, and just all of you. So grateful you're here in this community. We're cheering you on for an amazing month. I'm calling it Nourishing November. right?
Love
Let's nourish, lots of nourishment of yourself and of others this month. It's the perfect time to connect, grow your community, grow your connections. So we're cheering you on. We'll see you guys next Wednesday, and I'll see some of you here real soon.